Today I'll be discussing conceptual artist Barbara Krueger. I've always loved Barbara Krueger's style, and researching her for this presentation really opened up my eyes to how deep her work goes. She uses a very graphic, ahead of its time approach that many of us recognize from modern blogging platforms like Tumblr. But beyond the cool aesthetic and red and white block text, Krueger is actually subverting the world of advertising. She takes the tools she learned in the magazine industry and turns them into a critique of consumerism and identity. To her, art is about the war at home within each of us, highlighting the winners, the losers, and the messy power dynamics that define who we are. To understand where Krueger's power comes from, I looked at the 1999 MIT exhibition catalog edited by Anne Goldstein. This book is essentially the Bible for her career because it documents a side of her many people don't know. Most people assume she went straight to a studio, but her start was actually at a Mademoiselle magazine. She wasn't just a designer, she was a master of the visual language of advertising. She learned exactly how to grab a reader's attention in the split second it takes to turn a page. Interestingly, she had a fiber art phase in the 70s, making woven wall hangings. She eventually found those pretty objects too limited for the social issues she wanted to tackle. By 1981, she combined her design skills with her political interests to create her official breakthrough, the red and white agitprop style we recognize today, using appropriated images to challenge the viewer directly. Now I want to focus on what is arguably her most famous work, Your Body is a Battleground. What makes this piece unique is that it wasn't made for a museum, it was made for the streets. It was originally a protest poster for the 1989 March on Washington. Visually, Krueger uses a solarized effect that split down the middle to represent the deep polarization of reproductive rights. She wanted to show the female body being pulled apart by political forces. You'll notice the woman is looking directly at us. Krueger uses this unyielding gaze to force a confrontation, but it's not just a picture, it's a demand for an answer. Because of her background in magazines, she knew that symmetry equals authority. By centering the text and the face, she makes the poster look like an official news headline or a government decree. But the real genius is in her words. By using the word your, she makes the political personal. She's telling the viewer, this isn't a debate about someone else, it's about you. Even though it's over 30 years old, the work remains powerful today because it doesn't use specific slogans. It simply states the fact that our bodies have become a site of political struggle. For my next source, I looked at the 2024 MoMA biography of Barbara Krueger. This source is important because it highlights her legacy over the past 4 decades. MoMA focuses on her use of what they call shifters, those pronouns like I, you, and we. They point out that these aren't just random words, they are tools designed to make us question the mainstream media we consume every day. Krueger wants us to stop and think about how those commercials and headlines are actually shaping who we are. I think her philosophy is best summed up in a quote I found in this biography. She says, she tries to make work that joins seductions of wishful thinking with the criticality of knowing better. Basically, she knows we like looking at pretty advertisements, but she wants us to use that seduction to make us look closer and realize the power structures hidden underneath. By taking images from magazines and newspapers, she challenges us to rethink how we assign meaning to things like faith, morality, and authority in our modern world. To get the artist's own perspective, I looked at the 2027 Art21 interview titled Resisting Reductivism. This is a crucial primary source because Krueger explains exactly why she doesn't take her own photos. She tells Art21 she's interested in how the media already confronts us. By using found images, the ones we already see in magazines or on screens, she's meeting the viewer on familiar ground. She also talks about her media diet and how she uses those famous pronouns like you and we to implicate the audience. In her view, you can't just stand back and look at her art. By using those words, she pulls you inside her work and makes you a part of the struggle she's depicting. She wants us to break the bubble of our own daily lives and force us to deal with the reality of power and influence. My final source is the most recent, the 2021 LACMA catalog, Thinking of You, I Mean Me, I Mean You. This book is essential because it shows how Krueger has evolved. She's moved way beyond the small posters and frame pictures we saw earlier. Today she creates what are called room wraps. She covers every inch of the gallery, the floors, the walls, and even the ceilings in massive digital text. I chose this to prove that her message hasn't aged, it's just scaled up. By looking at her new digital productions, we can see how she is still critiquing consumerism and power, but now she's doing it in a way that matches the overwhelming noise of our digital world. She's gone from a single page in a magazine, to taking over entire architectural spaces, proving that in 2026, her visual language is more necessary than ever. To wrap everything up, Barbara Krueger's career shows us that art doesn't have to stay inside a frame or a gallery. We've seen how she took the tricks of the advertising world, the bold fonts, the high contrast crops, and the aggressive shifters like you and I, and turned them into a mirror for society. Whether she was weaving fiber art in the 70s or wrapping entire buildings in text in 2024, her mission has remained the same: to make us know better while we are being seduced by the media around us. As we saw with Your Body is a Battleground, her work isn't just historical, it's a living, breathing part of our current political and social landscape. She reminds us that the war at home is a constant struggle for identity and autonomy. I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you see a bold headline or a viral meme, ask yourself, who is speaking and what they're trying to sell you? Because in Barbara Krueger's world, the most important thing you could do is look back at the image and demand an answer.